documentaries that you might be using as you create your student documentaries for this class? Of documentary is the expository documentary. And expository documentaries are a lot like expository writing. They speak directly to the viewer, the audience, and they are often in the form of an authoritative commentary, employing voiceovers or titles, proposing a strong argument and a point of view. These films are rhetorical and try to persuade the viewer. They may use a rich and sonorous male voice, or the voice of God commentary, often sounds objective and omniscient. So when you guys are watching documentaries, you'll notice that a lot of times when they really want that authoritative voice, they're going to use specific actors, including Morgan Freeman seems to be the most popular one right now. Images are often not paramount. They exist to advance the argument. The rhetoric instantly presses upon us to read the images in a certain fashion. Historical documentaries in this mode deliver an unproblematic and objective account and interpretation of past events. The first example of an expository documentary we're going to take a short look at is a clip from the movie Freakonomics.
So I want to sell my home, and I put it on the market for $300,000.
It's a lovely home you have. I'm the agent.
All right, so let's pause here for a second just to take a look at what they're doing in this segment. They're setting this up to basically persuade us. They've already told us that they are basing this film off of a book that was supposed to get people to look at the world in a different way. So they've given us an introduction. That's the first part of any plot. And now they're going to introduce the characters of the story they're going to tell us. So we know that we have Stephen Levitt and Stephen Dunbar here. And they're going to introduce this story a little bit more and probably give us more information about them and what they're going to be sharing with us in this film.
All right, let me start over. That was might be good, but I'm sorry. All right, I want to sell my home. I put it on the market for $300,000. I get an offer today for $290,000. The question is, if I could wait a week and get an offer for the full $300,000, would I rather wait that week and get the full price or take the offer today for $290,000?
You want to take it now. I'll be the real estate agent. I'm telling you, you want to take it right now because a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, and the market is really starting to soften up. And these things, you just can never tell. And if you have a good offer, I really think it's the right thing to take it. And I'm not speaking out of self-interest here because I'm just a real estate agent, and our interests are aligned because I'm getting a commission of your sale. So I want you to get as much as you can for this house. I really do.
When you think about the incentives that the current contract set up between the home seller and the agent representing them, they're not well aligned. But can you ever prove that?
Interestingly, if you look at the sales data on real estate agents' own homes, not their clients' homes, but when they sell their own homes, they get more money than if they sold the same home for a client. Now, why would that be? Well, what we find in the data is that agents hold out for a better price and leave their own homes on the market longer, an average of 10 days longer. But when it comes to your house, well, the agent has an incentive to sell right away.
Why? Because of that $10,000 into his or her pocket, only $150.
I only get $150.
All right, so we're going to stop here for a second. So if you decided already what the message is of this movie, and we're not going to watch the whole movie, we've really only watched about 2 minutes of it. What is the message of this movie? What are they trying to tell you or persuade you in this movie? All right, this next film, the National Geographic Sea Monsters: A Prehistoric Adventure, is another example of an expository documentary. And in this case, you're really going to be able to see that voice of God narrator in action.
Beneath the earth we know lie other worlds, hidden from sight, lost in time. But sometimes we can glimpse a lost world through remnants of the past.
We definitely got a skull. Oh, right. What do you think?
It's hard to say. Maybe
This story begins with the discovery of unidentified bones.
depositional environment. It's more than
A team of paleontologists will try to figure out whose bones they are and what world they came from.
So good time. That's a start.
They were discovered in Kansas, mostly farmland today. But once, Kansas lay beneath a vast sea.
The next type is the observational documentary. Observational documentaries attempt to simply and spontaneously observe life with a minimum of intervention. Filmmakers who worked in this subgenre often saw the poetic mode as too abstract and the expository mode as too didactic. The first observational docs date back to the 1960s. The technological developments which made them possible include mobile lightweight cameras and portable sound recording equipment for synchronized sound. Often this mode of film issued voice-over commentary, post-synchronized dialogue, and music or reenactments. The films aimed for immediacy, intimacy, and revelation of individual human character in ordinary life situations. Now, as students of film, basically what you are in this case, we are going to probably do a hybrid of the observational and the expository. Different types of observational documentaries. This first clip comes from a 2011 movie called Life in a Day, and this one is a straight up observational film. It actually asked the participants to document their day, and then the filmmakers took that documentation and spliced it together to give us a realistic view of one day in the life of people around the world. So let's take a short look at this.
Like others, I believe that the time between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. is one where the veil between this world and the next is the thinnest. Often during this time of the day, I hear the sound of my name uttered by an unseen presence.
これからうんよし
なんで多分毛が生えてて生えちゃ
男の人だ
うの。女の人は
女の人は生えないよあんまりねよいしょはいママにおはようし
おはようと。
なんですぐほら
星もここいい。
たいちゃんいい？じゃあパパだけやるよたいちゃんほらチンしてパパお線香を刺したらチンしてまだ
Okay, so the last clip that we're going to look at as an example of the observational documentary is actually a short clip from the television show Hoarders, which is televised by A&E and I believe produced by A&E. And we're going to take a short look at this. And what this show is really looking at is trying to observe the process that somebody with a mental illness that causes them to hoard objects and trash and things like that has to go through when facing that mental illness and trying to overcome that. We're only going to watch a short little snippet of this, and you'll see that this is a little bit of a hybrid between the actual pure observational, which we just saw in a day, in one day in the last one, and the expository, where you're going to see a little bit of voiceovers. Occasionally you'll see an interview in it, and there will be titles to tell you what's going on.
I am Betty. I'm 68 years old. I was the garbage man's daughter. He'd bring home lumber and clothes and furniture and just everything. The kids at school used to tease me about it, and it was a big issue, but it was...
All right, so I'm going to pause this for a minute because it'll actually go on for quite some time, and kind of fast forward past some of their introducing the idea of what's going on and the different people that they're going to be interviewing and talking to, so that you can see the actual documentation of, you know, the experience that these people are actually having. And that's ultimately what they're doing, is they're setting up your understanding of the background of the story and the experience that you're going to be viewing for the rest of the episode.
I have a rug that we got at an auction upstairs, rolled up, ready to come in. Like I said, I want to put the sewing machine in front of the windows where I can sit there and sew. And I've got a really nice queen-size mattress that I got for $200. It's going to go in the bedroom, and trim around the top, and I may put a border around here. I've got a good plan. That's one reason I resent this organizer thing, but I'm willing to go along with it because she may have ideas that I hadn't thought of or would be able to use. There may be something she suggests that I would just say no to.
Like, do we clear this out, or are you folks using it?
It's perfumes, lotions,
Yeah.
stuff that I've wanted to save. Given the situation, I'm going to have to accept whatever she suggests, but it is resentful to me to finally be able to have a situation where I can have what I want and do what I want and then have to be told what to do and how to do it. It's not bothering anybody. It's not rude. Nobody has to